everybody. Welcome back to the Sporadic Gaming Podcast. I am No Youth, or Devin, and that is my brother. You can introduce yourself.
No, I'm not going to introduce myself. If you don't know who I am already, then why are you still watching this? This is episode like 6 or 7 or something. Like, go away. Or stay, actually.
We've,
Stay would be better.
we've given you guys enough chances to learn us. I've been gone for the past couple of episodes, if you guys have been following. And so I've been up to some stuff. I've been playing some games, still do my own things, but I've been busy. So if you guys haven't seen our last episodes, go watch those, listen to them, whatever form of media you consume this podcast through. If you miss an episode, go catch up on those. They're all pretty good. So we start this off with some introductions. So Fizz, what have you been playing? What's been kind of going through your mind recently? And a new one. Do you have any game suggestions for people listening or watching?
Absolutely. So, first of all, I apologize for my rudeness in the beginning. I am D or Fizz, and please watch our show. Don't leave. I didn't mean that. Yeah, no, I have also been pretty busy with all sorts of things, but I'm glad to have you back. It feels right, it feels right. But yes, I have been playing so many games. I've been kind of sample plattering a bunch of games right now. And I talked about a couple of these, last week, but the main things that I'm kind of playing at the moment, I am still slowly making my way through Expedition 33, but I don't want to do 6 or 7 podcast episodes in a row talking about how much I love this stupid game. So I'm going to save you and not talk about that more this time. Instead, I will talk about what I just started playing today, which at the time of recording, this just came out. It's the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4 remaster or remake or whatever you want to call it. I have so many thoughts on this game. I've been playing it for the last few hours, and I'm a huge Tony Hawk's fan in general, and I really loved Vicarious Vision's work on the 1+2 remaster. This one's actually done by Iron Galaxy, which is a name I've not heard of since like Killer Instinct. So it's been a minute since I've heard anything from them, but I'm enjoying it. I'm going to say that I am enjoying it. I will say straight up, it is worse than 1+2. It doesn't feel right. Like there's some jank and some animation stuff that is a little weird. However, my main problems with it are actually more so really petty. Removing the Pro Skater 4 campaign mode or career mode, that really hurts me specifically because Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is my favorite game in the series. Like more than Thug, more than American Wasteland, Project 8, like any of the other ones that people like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 is my baby. So to have the career mode removed, to have content cut, like there's maps missing. Granted, the ones that are missing make sense. Like the bonus levels are gone, and they were replaced with new bonus levels. So it's not like it's content that got replaced. It's not like removing content. It's just like replacing it. But as a Pro Skater 4 unapologetic fanboy, like I want those maps back. I want Chicago and Carnival back. And then the other thing is like the elephant in the room. There's only like 3 or 4 songs that returned from Pro Skater 4. Everything else is like completely new or just from 3. And like there's some songs that like I feel are like unforgivable to be not here. We're missing the Distillers. We're missing System of a Down. We're missing NWA. We're missing TNT, for Christ's sakes. That was like the song, like the intro song. Like it just doesn't feel like Pro Skater 4. It feels like Pro Skater 3 got all the attention, and then Pro Skater 4 was an afterthought just to make this game like worth $50. And that sucks. What I do think is cool, and I'm sorry for continuing to yap about this. I will stop soon. But what I
Yeah, you're
do
fine.
think, what I think is cool though, is that it is different. It's Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 in the format of 1, 2, and 3. So it plays completely different. And I'm not used to that. So like this is actually feeling like a new experience. So for that, aspect, I will say like that's really cool. Is if you like Pro Skater 4, this is like more of a reimagining than a remaster, right? But that also means that like if you want to play Pro Skater 4, you just have to go play Pro Skater 4. Like this does not scratch the Pro Skater 4 itch. This scratches the Pro Skater 3 itch, but it doesn't scratch the Pro Skater 4 itch cuz like Pro Skater 3 basically untouched. All of its content, all of its challenges, everything's the exact same, just like 1 and 2. It's a faithful gameplay remaster. The music was also cut. There's only, if there was only like 3 or 4 songs returning from Pro Skater 4, the other like 5 or 6 are returning from 3, and then the other like 50 or so were just completely new. Which like the 1 and 2 remakes, they kept a lot of the original music. They were like, yeah, like it feels like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater because we have the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater songs in here. But then this, I've listened to the whole soundtrack numerous times now because there's a playlist up on Spotify, and now I've spent 5 or so hours just in menus and we're doing challenges and stuff. The soundtrack is good. Like I'm not gonna say it's a bad soundtrack. Like straight up, almost all the music choices are awesome. Though I will say, no offense to 100 Gex, but like what the hell are they doing here? Totally does not fit the vibe. And also they have that one like I am the one that song's in this game. I'm not gonna sing more of that because we'll get copyright struck immediately. But like that song's in this game. Why is that here? That is so jarring every time it comes on. I'm just like, what?
Do you
But
think that you're playing and you're randomly in an MLG edit?
like yeah, like that song's been ruined by the internet. To be fair, so like that's not the song's fault. Tony Hawk, he's made some statements about like, yeah, like we wanted to do something different with this game, so like he handpicked a bunch of music, like, oh, music to introduce to new people, like to see, if they're gonna like it and stuff. And I respect that. I just would have wanted them to do that with like a new Tony Hawk's
With the extra
game,
song.
or with
Yeah.
the extra songs, like bring back as much of the old music as you can. And I think really behind the scenes, I think what actually happened is I think this was a budget game. Like I don't feel the same level of polish as I got with like 1+2. So I think this was kind of hastily done, obviously by a different team, not even Vicarious Visions. It's Iron Galaxy. And I think you like playing through, I'm kind of noticing it's feeling maybe just a little bit lacking of the polish that 1 and 2 had. I'm only 5 or so ish hours in, so maybe this is just me being weird, but like I've played 1+2 recently, and I've played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 very recently. I stopped my playthrough of Pro Skater 4 to start this, so like I was just playing this like a week ago, and it feels different, but it's not bad. Like it is genuinely good. It's at the very least, I can say this: it's a $50 game. It's worth $50. So like if you're hearing me, this old Tony Hawk boomer, complain about this game, know that I am still enjoying it. I'm having a good time, and I have petty issues, but like none of them are like genuine complaints yet. They're just nitpicks and some things that have just kind of been rubbing me the wrong way, and that's really it. So that is what I've been playing. I told you I have so much thoughts. This has been all I've been thinking about and talking about. Well, that and Freerin, but
and we'll talk about that stuff for sure.
yeah.
Getting into some more detail. I haven't picked up 3+4 yet. I've been
It just came out
so
today
busy.
at the time of recording.
So yeah. And so recommend your recommendation.
Yeah, my recommendation, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, the GameCube version specifically. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, no, I'm not kidding. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4, the game is incredible, and the soundtrack is literally like the soundtrack of my life. So play that, please. It's really good.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. That's good. That's your guys' little gaming recommendation. So when you are looking for a game to play and you want to know if something's Fizz approved, play some Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. We played a bunch of 1+2 together.
Yeah, we got 1+2. We played a bunch of that.
Played a bunch of that. Skating games have never been my like calling, but that game did feel very good to play. Like that was one that we sunk a lot of time into, and was like my first. Like I played maybe like Skate 3 or something?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
We played the skate games on 360 when those were kind of
yeah,
new. So, but you were young,
like
so that you didn't
I
really stick
remember
with you.
those. No, exactly. No, exactly. And usually, oh, you were young, and so it did stick with you. It can go either way. But
Yeah,
like,
no,
it
that's
was
actually
young,
that's
so
true. You know,
I couldn't go deep into it.
there's one more petty complaint I have about 3+4, and like I don't want to get into it too much because it might attract the wrong audience, but the game is like super censored. Like super
Oh,
censored.
dang.
Like so
What?
like Tony Hawk games, they're not vulgar games by any means, but they're 90s and early 2000s games. So, naturally there was some stuff. And like yeah, all of it's been like completely sanitized. Like even like small stuff, right? Like there's just like random like slightly not even offensive jokes, just like really like okay, like yeah, if you pay attention to this small detail, like this store is called Moorhead or something, and it's like, oh, that's kind of an innuendo joke or whatever. But like now it's all replaced with like Taco Bell or like very like I'm not joking. Like there's Taco Bells everywhere
Uh,
in this game.
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
So it feels like sanitized and then also corporate. Like all blood was removed. Obviously, all the cursing's gone, but like the cursing was never allowed to stay because these were T games, so like the cursing was always kind of kept at a minimum. And then like
You get the occasional damn and hell in your
yeah,
game,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like that's what
and
you.
like ass is
You're like,
fine. But
yeah.
like actually it's really funny because they have that one Dell song about washing your ass, and that song's in this game, and it comes on and it's so funny because that song, first of all, incredible song, but it's so funny. Like why is that here? That's another one that feels so out of place. Anyways, my
Yeah.
point though is like yeah, it feels a little bit corporate. A lot of like the juvenile humor was removed. A lot of the like kind of innuendo stuff was removed. I mean, even stuff down to like NPCs. Like there was an area in like one of the cruise ship levels in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 where like you go down to like the the pool area, and then there's like girls in bikinis. That's not really anything crazy, but they're like wearing swimsuits near a pool, and then now they're like workers like in full work gear, like doing like writing on notepads and stuff. And it's like, okay, cool, but like that actually makes it feel even more corporate because it's like
Yeah.
you have now corporate workers in place of like
No,
beach
for
babes.
sure.
But it's like not that big of a deal. It's like the least like out of all of my complaints, this is like the lowest thing, but it's something I've definitely noticed so far. So I'm
You've
like,
definitely attracted a crowd
the
for
vibe,
sure. This
yeah,
is
the
gonna.
vibe. I will just say the vibe of this does feel like way more corporate and like way less like like back when you were playing the old Tony Hawk games when you were a kid, it was like, oh, like they're like freaking like cool skater dudes. It was just like a little bit of a different vibe. Though it just, I know skating is a different culture these days, but like that does feel like it's missing a little bit. Like the edge is missing.
And you're saying skating culture is definitely different. I mean, I feel like if this game was going to be set now, they would just be smoking weed at the bottom of a bowl and not skating, and
Well,
like that would
yeah,
just
but then
be
like
that's just the culture.
all of the weed references were cut out too,
Oh
except
well,
for
that's weird.
one. So there's a few things because again I'm crazy, so I actually look for this stuff. I looked through like every board in the game, every clothing item, and like every tattoo and customization piece and stuff. Some stuff made it through in tattoos. So there are a couple slightly suggestive tattoos, more innuendo-y tattoos. Like there's one where there's like a drawing of Mickey Mouse, which also how did that get through? But it's like an off-brand Mickey Mouse who's like high, and it like he's visually high, and it's like all right, cool. Like so some of that stuff made it through in there, but like yeah, like all the stuff that like was in here in the older games, and it wasn't much, but like it was like there was even like stuff like in the airport level, um like
There was a
well, yes, actually, there was bomb jokes in the airport level. But like there was a bunch of like signs about like like just like making fun of like the TSA, like a sign that's like oh like prepare for your mandatory cavity search, or just like stuff like that. Or like there was a sign. Was it a billboard maybe, or was it like it was something, but it was like I'm sorry we lost your luggage again, or it was just like something like that. Like it's not like it doesn't have to be offensive. It was a little bit of an edge, like they were like
pushing a
taking
boundary. I
yeah,
got that.
they were kind of poking fun at like the thing that we all hate at the airport. All of that stuff's gone. The bomb joke is gone too, but like I don't necessarily blame that one's okay to like kind of remove. That's not that big of a deal. But the other stuff is so small that it just feels weird. And then again, to replace it with a Taco Bell, like a literal actual Live Moss Taco Bell with a fully modeled interior with people ordering enchiladas. Like it's a little weird. It's a little weird.
No, for sure, for sure. So yeah, you guys heard it here first. 3+4 is good, corporate, and 4 is good, and is your recommended game. So me, I've been playing a lot of games. I'm kind of in the same boat as Fizz here, where I've been kind of window shopping, playing some games, getting off. We have both gotten Switch 2s. So I don't know if we've talked about this, but I didn't end up getting a Switch 2 day one. Fizz did. Comes over to my house, and we play some games, and convinced me to get it. So we played Mario Kart World, and we played Mario Party, and that was all I needed to get a Nintendo console, which is all you need to get a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
If a Nintendo console has a good Smash game, has a good Mario Party, and has a good Mario Kart, that's all you need.
That's the three pillars.
Those are the three pillars of a Nintendo console. And so we played. I had a lot of fun. So I've been playing obviously Mario Kart World as it is new. It's just been a good experience. I've been playing some Elden Ring Night Rain, which is not in the same tier as the first game I said, but they're both really good. Oh my gosh. And most importantly, I started Fire Emblem Three Houses for the first time, which is my second Fire Emblem game I've ever played. I played Binding Blade first on the Game Boy Advance, and that was really good, and it got me into a little bit more of the tactics games. So I don't know if you guys remember the first episode, I said I didn't really particularly like that style. So in like 7 or whatever weeks, I have changed, which was bound to happen. So I really do like. That's how it always goes. So I'm really enjoying Fire Emblem Three Houses. For you guys who are curious, who've played the game, I'm doing the Blue Lions, I think is the
Blue Lions.
The Blue Lions route.
Dimitri.
My boy Dimitri, the most unhinged man of all time. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm not there yet. I'm in chapter I think like 7. But I'm super excited. I've been having a lot of fun. And for game recommendations, with DLC dropping on the PC, Castle Crashers is getting its first like real major DLC, and it is my newly designated 3rd favorite video game of all time.
3rd is crazy.
Crazy. But this update is gonna probably, I don't think it can take Final Fantasy X spot at number 2, but it is gonna push the envelope. This new update is gonna be amazing, and so that comes out like this August, I think. So I recommend go play some Castle Crashers, get used to the gameplay. That way, when you guys get this fresh update and you buy the DLC for the Painter Boss Paradise, you guys can have like a ton of fun. So those are my recommendations. That's what I've been playing. I mentioned the Switch 2. The Switch 2 launched and has been so mixed.
The Switch 2's out?
It's out. It has been the most mixed console where it depends on who you're talking to. If you're going to hear that this is the greatest console of all time or the worst console of all time.
Yeah. It depends on what you're looking for, really.
It really does. So I kind of wanted to open the discussion a little bit. And I want to open it to you guys too. So let us know, message us either on our Blue Sky accounts or in the comment section on YouTube here.
Or in the Discord.
I want you guys to kind of, or in the Discord. Oh my gosh. Actually, just text us in the Discord.
That's probably the best way to reach us, to be honest. At least me.
For sure. But I want to just kind of open this discussion. The Switch 2 has been out for a little bit over a month. And it has been so mixed. How do you think the future is going to show the Switch 2? Do you think it's going to paint it in a good light or a negative light?
It is way too early to make definitive statements, but my gut tells me I think this is going to end up being a good one. I think the only reason we're seeing pushback to this release the way we are is because of the price. And I think if this was the exact same console but $50 cheaper at launch and the games weren't $80 and they were still $60, I actually genuinely don't think we'd really see any complaints. I mean, there would still be people who are like, yeah, like I can't afford to get a new console right now, but you'd see a lot less people saying like this is an inaffordable console, especially for what it is. Um, and I do think the pricing structure is bad, but I will say for my use case, totally worth it so far. I was really just all I wanted really out of this was to be a stronger Switch that can run the games better. Because of course, the Switch One was a abysmal dog shit as far as graphical performance goes, and I loved that thing. Don't get me wrong, I really did. I did for like a couple years, and then it just like the PS5 came out and upgrade my graphics and my graphics card on my PC and like just do a lot of stuff. And then once we get to a certain point, I just like there's never a time where I'm going to want to play a third party game that's like a multiplat on the Switch. Like I just don't want to play the worst like not even just like the worst version, but like compromised versions of these games. Like Doom has level geometry changed because they couldn't handle rendering the actual level geometry. It's like I appreciate the team behind Doom and The Witcher and Nier were like able to get these crazy games running on the Switch, but like at what cost? Because it's cool that they're there, but like oh my god, I will never play them. So at least with the Switch 2, like we have some proper horsepower, and the cool thing with that is that I'm still never going to buy a multi-platform game on the Switch 2. But for other people who do, they're not going to be getting nearly as handicapped of an experience. Also, for those same people, the amount of games that are possible now has just exploded because now we are reaching like PS4 Pro levels of graphical power out of a Nintendo handheld, which means pretty much every game this generation can run on this thing. Worse graphics and worse performance, sure, but like Elden Ring can run. Elden Ring's on the PS4. If it's on the PS4, it can run on the Switch too. Just like if it was on the PS3, it could run on the Switch 1. Like we're basically assuming that like Nintendo's a generation behind, right? But since this generation has been so closely like tied with the previous one, Nintendo Switch 2 being kind of a weaker console actually doesn't hurt them nearly as bad as everyone's saying it's going to.
And with
Especially,
the Switch
especially.
One,
Go ahead.
with the Switch One's release, it came out in a situation in like a point in time where it was an underpowered console when it came out. Like it was weak when it came out, and then the generation then
Ended.
had such a huge jump from the PS4 to the PS5.
Yeah.
The PS4 is a weak console in comparison to the PS5, so much more than the PS3 is a weak console compared to the PS4. So you have a like PS3, Xbox 360 level console. Wait, no, those aren't the same generation. Yeah, PS3. Yeah, Xbox 360
Mm-hmm.
level console that then is getting outclassed by a PS5, which is just such a far jump. And so you have this console now that comes back, but the Switch 1 versus the Switch 2, keeping the name, similar power, it's just an upgrade of the Switch 1.
Yeah.
It provides you and being backwards compatible. The thing is
Yeah.
the Switch 2 didn't need to launch with 600 games. People were talking about that as a complaint. Look at the launch releases of this. Mario Kart World is the only one of note, and later in the month, Donkey Kong Bonanza. And
That's
you're
the following
then
month.
yeah, no, it's the following one. But then you're looking at those games and you're like, okay, well, like those are big releases that are coming out. But you were talking about a statement Nintendo just made, and I didn't hear
Yeah.
it, so this will be my
Yeah,
uh,
yo, for sure, for sure. And I
about
think that kind of, what I was kind of getting at with my previous statement as well kind of leads into that as well. But with all of what the Switch 2 is and with the power that it has and the comparison that we have with the other consoles, I think it's also important to remember that this is going to be a slightly longer generation as well. Like the PS5 is at about its halfway point, which means we probably have like another 3 to 4 years, which is about the same amount of time roughly that the Switch 1 had before it kind of got outclassed. But I'm actually leaning more towards on like the 4 year side. Like I'm thinking we're gonna have a little bit more time with the PS5 than people think we will. So the Switch 2 is gonna have a bit of time to still be able to like run all these games and things like that. But I think the real thing, like yeah, like what you were getting at is that statement Nintendo made. So basically, to kind of summarize, Nintendo is keeping an eye on their budgets, and they're really pushing, you know, shorter dev times on their games, which is great. I mean, that is what I've been saying everyone should be doing for years. And Nintendo already does a really good job of releasing like smaller budget stuff and like little tiny side projects here and there, taking chances on kind of like wacky out there ideas, and releasing kind of like lower budget games. And they are very successful because in general their budgets are lower than their competitions, and they're selling more than their competition. Well, at least on par in many cases with their competition, and then in other cases a lot more because they're also just their games output is so much more. So like they're doing really well. Like they're clearly successful at their business. But I think with the Switch 2 being more powerful, the concern is now like, hey, you now have a PS4 Pro powered console. Now all of a sudden your games are going to cost a lot more to produce and make because of the higher, you know, technology as it increases. Like obviously, like yeah, now we have to render out more detail, and the textures get larger and the file sizes get larger and all this stuff. But yeah, Nintendo really wants to just keep their dev times down, keep their budgets down, and just continue. Like I think a good art style, a strong art style can hide any like lack of technical power. I mean, you look
No,
at, yeah,
100%.
100%,
Games that we play today on our Retroid pockets that look
yeah.
absolutely amazing. Pixel art's timeless. You have
Yeah.
a good art like that, and then the games that try to be super realistic look terrible. You play the PS2 Lord of the Rings Third Age game, and you look at that and you're like, wow, I can't believe this was like what games were striving to look like. The game does not look
Yeah.
good.
Like that was cutting edge when that came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that game just it doesn't hold up because it was going for a realistic style that then doesn't look good. So like if it had a good stylized art style, then it would hold up way more. Like Sunset Overdrive holds up to this day.
Yeah.
That game
Yeah.
looks amazing.
And I think with Nintendo, I think we're already seeing a glimpse of that. I mean, you look at Mario Kart World and look at where that power went. It went into making a big world, but you actually look at it, like look at the details, and it's not a super detail rich game. It's very cartoony, it's very animated, and it's very large. But it is not like, you're not comparing to like on the PS4 a game like Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever, right? Like that something like an open world style game in that vein, or like Grand Theft Auto 5 or whatever. Like it's still very low res, low detail textures, but it looks phenomenal. It looks incredible because it has a strong art style with an amazing animation and just all around just high level of craftsmanship. And that's what
And
Nintendo has always excelled at, is like doing more with less.
definitely.
And they don't necessarily need, like they can run a game like that at 1440p ish and it looks incredible on a 4K panel, and like it doesn't seem like they're massively behind in technology. Like they seem like they're making beautiful games. Bonanza also looks incredible.
Oh, it looks so good. I'm so excited.
But then you remember
It
that they're
sold me.
working with hardware that is the equivalent of like a 10-year-old plus system. It's like, it's interesting, but
Yeah.
I think they're going to be fine first party wise. Again, dear God, I'm not
No, for
touching third
sure.
party, but first party will excel on this thing. And that's all I personally needed it to do.
No, for sure. And we talked about this a little bit right before the pod. I'm not treating this also like a to-go console. Like this is not a console that I'll be playing on the go very much. It's mostly going to be a console that I'm playing docked. I'm just treating this like a home console.
Yeah.
The advantage of having this separate screen is if other people need to use the TV, I can take it off and I can set it down on a desk
Yeah.
and keep playing my game seamlessly. That's the true advantage of the Switch 2. And we're talking about art styles. I want to stay on that for a little bit. You mentioned Donkey Kong Bonanza, which we don't have confirmation, if I'm not wrong, that it's the same people that were working on Odyssey.
It's
But
confirmed.
It's confirmed it is?
Yeah. Yeah. Nintendo's confirmed
Okay.
that. Yeah. We
Okay, cool.
all knew, but like Nintendo did
We all knew.
finally confirm that.
So it's the same team that's working on Odyssey, and obviously Odyssey is an amazing game. It's in my top 5 favorite video games of all time. It's like it's super highly I love it. And replaying it through it recently has just make me really excited for Bonanza because I was under the impression it was the same team. And that game looks amazing. Like it looks amazing to today's standards because it has that kind of cartoony art style. And it doesn't do a thing that I call the Zack Schneider effect. That is where games make it super dark for drama and and they don't let you see anything. What I mean by that is in Ruined Kingdom in Mario Odyssey, when you're in that kingdom, it is very dark. In Bowser Kingdom, it is very dark. But Mario sticks out like a sore thumb in as light. He's cartoonish. That's what a cartoon character does. In Kingdom Hearts 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, everything is so dark. Sora, Donald, and Goofy look so wild in that world. They stick out. But it's because they're cartoon characters.
Yeah.
So it fits it. And they don't fall under the Zack Snyder effect of being just completely dark and dulled and all the color and all the life and all the joy is taken out of it. Which is why I think those games hold up that well. That's why I think the games hold up that well. And I don't think that there's a game series or there's a company that has done that with their first parties as well as Nintendo has. So hearing them say, "Oh, we want to decrease prices," means that they're not trying to go like they're kind of confirming we're not trying to go into a hyper realistic
Yeah,
direction.
I wouldn't expect
We're
them to. I mean, given what
no,
Nintendo
for sure.
does, like what Nintendo's first party output is, and the directions that all their series have gone, like if you look at like everything they make, it's like, okay, what of those series could work in a hyper realistic style? It's like maybe Fire Emblem, but Fire Emblem's gone full like moe anime, like like Fire Emblem is embraced its weeb nature. So I don't think that's anything to worry about. You have like maybe F-Zero, but then Nintendo would have to remember F-Zero exists, so that's obviously never going to happen. Um, and then you have like I don't know, like We Fit, but like I don't care if that's realistic. It's it's a so like there's nothing to worry about. Nintendo makes cartoony styled games and like that's
For
okay. That's
sure.
that's good actually because
That's
yeah,
a
that's
good
that's
thing.
going to help them keep their freaking budgets down. Like a game
But
like
but
compared to the or unless you have something you want to say beforehand, I was gonna start making some comparisons that are really apt here.
oh, right before we get to
Yeah.
comparisons, I wanted to say you're talking about existing series. This is confirming that new series aren't going to be going in this
Yeah,
direction.
that's
We're,
true. That's true.
we're like if they release a new series like oh my gosh this game is called Life Simulator and the game's hyper realistic and it has a guy named Brayden and he's like super detailed like that would just take so much time that wouldn't be cheap and it wouldn't be something that screams Nintendo. So they're setting their foot down. They're showing like no in this series in the industry that is going this direction, which I've talked many a times about how I do not like this, but is going down this direction of hyper realistic and all that stuff that is barely finding art styles again or colors on the spines of their box arts. Like they're leaning back into that gaming's for nerds. Gaming is for like they're not trying to appeal to like this is cutting edge, the most beautiful thing you've ever laid your eyes on. It's like no, this game's fun. This is a fun party game. We make cartoony party video games that are fun and rich stories, but we're not here to push the envelope. But you can go make
No,
some
I mean
comparisons and let's get
you're
something to say on
you're
that.
first of all is you're completely right. That's what Nintendo's always done to for better or for worse, right? Like Nintendo's always prioritized fun to the point where like there's that Reggie quote like if it's not fun, like what's the point, right? And yeah, like there's been some drawbacks to that. Nintendo has obviously suffered a lot in certain elements and they've never been taken as seriously as like their competitors and things like that. But then you look at their competitors and I will say I like the variety, especially nowadays. The companies Xbox, PlayStation, like their first party games, they are able to make a wide variety of games. They have a lot of different series and different talents and stuff like that. But you compare like even just like when you're talking about budgets, right? Because like that's the problem with the industry is ballooning budgets, games that are just taking a million years to make and costing $1 billion. Like it just isn't something that should happen. But again, you compare And it's like they're even them, like they're also seeing more success with their lower budget stuff. And then like yeah, their higher budget stuff maybe sells more, maybe it appeals to more people, but like you have to sell, like the margins are so much thinner now. Like a game like Spider-Man 2 that sold like 10 million units, but that cost $300 million to make. Like so selling 10 million copies is really good, but like Astrobot sold like 2 something million or whatever. Like I don't know the official numbers, but it sold much less. But like Astrobot cost like 2 sticks of bubblegum and a butterfly kiss to make. Like that game cost like no
It
money and took like 4 years to make. Like that was a
it cost the
short dev time.
same. It cost the same amount of money. It cost the same amount of money as what holds together the Halo 2
Yeah,
online
absolutely. Like yeah, like Halo 2 was constructed with using the same the same
materials that it cost them
materials.
to make Astrobot.
So like you know, and then not only that, but like then that game won Game of the Year. So like
Yeah.
I while Astrobot was not my initial pick, I'm actually happy that that's what won because more than anything else, it sends that message. Low budget game from still a AAA publisher, so it's not an indie game, it is just a low budget AAA game with a smaller team that was made in like 3 to 4 years. It did not need to be this massive gargantuan, 10 plus year project that cost $1 billion. It was somebody's like, just
Childhood passion
10,000,
project.
like like a 1,000 employee mess. Like it doesn't need to be that. The game just has to be good and fun and work ideally. And that's it, dude. Like
Honestly, work optional, dude. Some of the best speedrun games of all time do not work. You
work
you watch
optional.
you watch like a speedrun of your favorite game and you're like, "Oh, I didn't know that my game did was like there like there's so many things you wouldn't think are optional." It's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
you need to beat the final boss." And some dude's like, "No, you don't." and breaks your game.
There's
Yeah, no. You're good. Yeah, you go.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, there's nothing more entertaining than like playing a game that you know is broken and then going on a YouTube or speedrun.com. Like, there's nothing
Oh
better
my
than that
gosh.
feeling of like, oh yeah, Sonic Adventure 2's jank as hell. Let me watch a speedrun where this guy's gonna clip through the whole level sideways in a bounce and just fly out of bounds and dodge all these invisible planes and beat this like the longest level in the game in like a minute and a half. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't want to go too far on the speedrun tangent because I can go. We can go very far.
We both
But
can.
I actually wanted to even do an episode in the future about speedrunning. That's on my list of notes.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
that's not this episode. I just want to warn everyone. But I'm gonna go on a little bit of a side tangent. Um so we I was looking at Super Mario Odyssey. I've been playing it recently, since I have a Switch 2.
Yeah, and
Just
it got
playing through it.
really beautiful upgrade, by the way. It looks phenomenal on the
Did
Switch too.
game looks great, feels great. And so I started watching all the old like Small Ant, CJ Fur videos that I used to watch like when I played when it first came out. Like all the stuff that I'd watch watching speedruns. I forgot how broken Super Mario Odyssey is. If you
Yeah.
guys want to watch a speedrun and just like sit there and be like, what am I even looking at? Watch a minimum captures speedrun. Dude, Cappy return cancels CRCs are one of the coolest tricks I've ever seen in a speedrun. And the way they work and like the explanation for how they work is so cool. Um, but yeah, I just that add that to the recommendation list. Go play
Yeah.
Castle Crashers and watch a Super Mario Odyssey minimum captures speedrun. Um,
I think platformers
yeah.
are really good speedrun games because there's so much freedom and expression and also way more opportunities for jank, you know? Like like there's so much
Oh, for
more
sure.
opportunities to like break the game and to
Especially
get
like a
stuff, you know?
platform collectathon where
Yeah.
the things you get are optional.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's like, you look at like speedruns for game like, you look at like a Call of Duty speedrun and like yeah, like there's some jank, but it's all just about getting to the end of the level and completing like whatever minimal amounts of objectives as you can to like complete the level. So there's not a lot of like freedom of expression there. But like with platformers, you can have like any percent, minimum percent, and then 100%. Like and do all these variations of it, and you can do all these different things. And so like, yeah, I think just like platformers or like just games built for speedrunning, like a game that
Neon
was
White.
intended, yeah, like a game like Neon White that was intended to be speedran. Like those are like the more interesting ones, the games that have that freedom of
No, for sure.
expression and mechanical skill gap, to where it's not just about like finding bugs and glitches and stuff. Sometimes that's still a thing, but it's not always about that, right? Like it can just be as simple as like
Playing optimal.
playing real cracked out of your mind and coming up with all these cool strategies to like, and movement tech and taking all these
Oh,
risks.
100%.
Yeah.
And a lot of games recently, because of the state of the gaming industry, games aren't as broken as they used to be. You look at an old game that's been played thousands of times, you play this game and it doesn't work. There's oh, this random wall over here doesn't have collision. There's no like, here's how I manipulate the game to allow me to clip through a wall. It's like, no, this wall just they forgot to add it, and then the
They
game comes
forgot.
out, and there's no updates to the game. The game's just out, and that's the whole game. So okay, this wall just doesn't have collision. You just walk through it, and you can walk to the end of the level if you know where the death planes are. That kind of stuff doesn't really exist nowadays due to updates. Now, day one games don't work, but that's a whole different conversation. So yeah, it is good to see games get like played optimally. Um, I think another really good speedrun is like Elden Ring speedruns. Those are really interesting
Yeah.
watching, because it's just these guys spend hours and hours and hours and hours working on just optimal ways to do damage to a boss. And there's a GDQ. For anyone who doesn't know, that's Games Done Quick. They're a charity event that does speedruns and raises money, um, through like donations and stuff. It's a pretty big event.
It's going on right
And
now at the time of recording, actually.
yeah, dude, GDQ is awesome. I recommend watching those if you guys are into speedrunning. But they did a Elden Ring speedrun. I don't remember when. But one of the guys was so knowledgeable of the game and how it worked that he got to a fight and he said, I didn't get a level that I was supposed to earlier in the run. I was down on he was down on some runes. And he's like, I will have to do one extra hit. Like, he's knowledgeable to know that that one level is the difference between one extra hit or not. And like, that level of mastery is what I look at when I look at like a top speedrunner and like speedrunning. Like, that's the stuff that I expect. And so I just think speedrunning super interesting.
It is.
So yeah, small tangent. Like I
Yeah,
said,
small
we'll do
tangent.
we'll do a more in depth speedrunning episode for sure. Um, but now back to our regularly scheduled program. So we spoke about the Switch 2, the industry, how we kind of think that it's gonna be seen. I definitely think good light. I definitely think it's gonna be seen in good light for sure. I kind of agree with you in that, and the similar points, because you look at consoles now, you're not gonna see the conversation. You don't see the conversation about price point really being brought up about old consoles. You're not gonna be like, oh, the GameCube, like it cost this much, and therefore it was so good, and so, or like, oh, it was so bad, whatever. You don't really see that argument being used. Um, and like even like the PS4 and Xbox One, a lot of people don't look at those launches and be like, oh, they were so expensive, except for the Xbox, which was because they forced you to get the Kinect. Or like the PS5, people talk about the prices because of scalpers. And so that's obviously more recently, but those are still things to take in consideration.
I will say, just as somebody who's lived through more, I'm older than you, so I've lived through more game console launches. I actually will kind of push back on that a little bit, in the sense of like, price in comparison to your competition absolutely matters, right? Like when you talk
Oh, for
about
sure.
like, oh, older consoles like the GameCube. Well, like, yeah, dude, the GameCube was like $100 at some points. Like like, I know the GameCube like did not win that generation by a long shot, but like, you have a PS2, like I forget how much the PS2 cost. It was like $200. Yeah, you have the Xbox original, and then you have like the GameCube that's just like this tiny little thing that costs nothing. Like, so many people like my first GameCube was the Double Dash bundle for like $100. And like, that was crazy. The only reason we got it, I didn't care for Nintendo at that time. The only reason we got it was because $100 console for my kid for whatever thing, like just get him to shut up and he's just gonna play new games and have a good time. And like, yeah, like that's pretty crazy. And then the same thing too,
I,
like, you know, now with like the Switch, like technically it's not the cheapest console anymore. Like that was kind of the Switch's whole thing, is like, hey, this is the cheapest console. You have the PS4 and you have the Xbox One. They're like little $500 $400 consoles, and then you have us. We're like 300. So if you want a cheaper system, like, you can play games on us. That was always like their strength. But like now, they're not the cheapest anymore. Now they're more expensive than a PlayStation 5. They're more expensive than a Series S. That is
I
something that is a problem. That's why I think it is a little bit worth talking about, is because you have these
the price
stronger consoles
comparison
that are
between the
cheaper.
generations, the price conversation between the generations is definitely a talking point. I don't think it's stronger than I feel like that's just kind of a factor. I don't know if that makes sense.
I mean,
I think it's something that
yeah.
someone could be used as like, okay, well, the Nintendo Switch was a little bit more expensive, so I never ended up getting it. And I think it's a factor to be a poor light, but I don't think it can be used as a reason. Like if someone's like, "Oh, the Switch 2 was bad. It was so expensive." I'd be like,
Yeah, I
"Okay,
agree.
but if
I
it's
agree.
worth that price, then it doesn't matter." Which is
I
kind of
agree.
where I more of mean, like the Xbox One price gets talked about because it being that expensive was because they had a Connect, which was bad. You know, if the Connect was amazing, no one would care. Like if the Connect on the Xbox One was like great and functioned properly, everyone would be like, "Oh yeah, like it didn't matter that was an extra $100. Like the Connect was like worth like it's okay. Like I would have just gotten the Connect separately because it was that good."
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So talking about the Switch 2, we definitely have some 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 similar opinions. I feel like the state of the Switch 2 is pretty much kind of gonna just be. We're gonna have to see it. It's so early.
Yeah.
It's
It's so early.
we're only a month in, but one of the highlights with the Switch One, and this kind of gets into my next little point here. One of the highlights with the Switch One is that we had games that we would play on the Switch One for actually hundreds of hours.
Oh yeah.
Like, remember when Ultimate came out? The chokehold that had on our lives.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
we went
I think I remember.
we went to like the mall before Smash came out, and we'd like fight people, like got like our first hands on it, and on like the and playing on like the pro controllers and stuff. So my next point, and this is a little bit off of the Switch 2, but if you have a Switch 2 game on this, then that's completely fine. But like, are there any other games that have really had like chokeholds on you? And I'm talking like true obsession, and they don't need to be good games. I'm talking like
Oh
they could
yeah.
be bad, but any like obsessed games like that.
We I am nothing if not obsessed with certain video games. There's so many games that I have just played endless amounts of hours in. And you know, you have like your really big long games, your Personas, your Breath of the Wilds, right? Like those are long games that, you know, you're going to play a lot of. And then you have your games that are like 4 hours long, but I've played
That
them a
you've played
hundred
600 times.
times. It's like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, you know, obviously, you know, we talked earlier, we brought up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 and how passionate I am about that. Like, I played that game a million times, right? Like, that is a 3 maybe 4 hour game. Like, it's not long, but the amount of time I've sunk into like building a park or just like free skating around and doing nothing, like, I'm talking hundreds of hours, easily hundreds upon hundreds of hours. But there's other games too. Like, I mean, obviously, like, we both know that Resident Evil had a big chokehold on me for a long time as
Oh, for
well.
sure. Especially the remake,
Yeah,
2
RE2.
remake.
Yeah,
That was a big obsession, and we played through most of that. We're like right at the
you
end.
and
We still just
I.
haven't
So okay,
shot the ball
that's
yet.
that's the thing that's crazy is like you and I have the same problem that Michaela has. We literally we have 10 minutes left of the game, and I can't stress this enough how
Oh,
stressful it's been in the back of my mind. We have the final boss fight, and that's it.
we'll do the final boss when she finishes 3 houses.
So never then is what you're saying. I got it. Okay. No, but like, yeah, Resident Evil 2, I beat that game like 11 times in a month when like we were playing it. And then like, yeah, I go back and play that all the time. I actually just got I just bought Resident Evil 3 because I was wanting to Yeah, I just bought Resident Evil 3 and 7 actually. I just bought 3 and 7 because they're on PS5 now. And so
Oh
is
heck
Resident
yeah.
Evil 2. So I want to get Resident Evil 2's actual PS5 version. But like yes, like now I have the actual PS5 discs instead of the PS4 discs. I mean, I still have the
Yeah.
PS4 disc too, but I want the shiny white bar case because I'm crazy. But yeah, like Resident Evil is a
Crazy.
big one. I think like if we're talking quintessential like games that Damien's obsessed with though, um, yeah, I don't think you have that conversation without bringing up Perfect Dark Zero, because
Oh,
like
you don't.
if there is if there's like if there's one fan of Perfect Dark Zero, it's me. If there are no fans of Perfect Dark Zero, I am dead. Like
Yeah.
that game, I love Perfect Dark Zero, warts and all. As a matter of fact, the things that people hate about Perfect Dark Zero are things that I love about Perfect Dark Zero. Like that game, I eat, breathe, and sleep Perfect Dark Zero. It's one of my favorite games ever made. I don't care that it has problems. I don't care if it's bad. I don't care if it. I don't. No, I just don't care. It is
So,
perfect in my eyes.
so for the uninformed, to give some context, Perfect Dark Zero is a game of all time.
It's
It is
not that
definitely.
bad. See, here's the thing, right? A lot of other guilty pleasure games are like, oh yeah, like yeah, this like 6 out of 10 game, this like 5 out of 10 game. Dude, Perfect Dark Zero's got an 80 on Metacritic, bro. Like it's not that bad.
So it's not that bad. But it is not amazing. You would think if you just heard from Fizz. Like if he like, oh my god, recommendation, recommend me a game to play, and he recommends you Perfect Dark. Like you would definitely be a little bit disappointed. His love for this game is definitely unnatural. But like honestly, the more I've spent time with him, and I don't know if this is like Stockholm syndrome,
That's
the
exactly
more
what it is.
I've started to kind of enjoy looking and engaging with Perfect Dark Zero stuff.
I'm telling you,
Um,
man. The sandbox, incredible. The mission design, a little hit or miss, but pretty incredible. The highs are high. I still think the first mission of Perfect Dark Zero is one of the best missions in any game. Like straight up, it's so good. There's so much. There's so much, and then like the soundtrack is so good. The multiplayer is so good. Just playing with bots, like you don't even need to play online. Just play with bots. It's still so good. Get your friends together and just like slay out like crazy. The maps, the modes, like that game has like a freaking Counter Strike mode in it. Like there's there's just so much content in that game, and like I understand because here's the reason that game got flamed, aside from all the obvious problems with it, are just because like they were fans of of not Nightfire, wrong game, but also an incredible game. They were fans of Perfect Dark, like the original Perfect Dark, and GoldenEye on the N64, and so like this was supposed to be like the that formula taken like to the next generation 360. And they were able to successfully bring over a lot of um, the vibe of those old rareware shooters. Where they may have fumbled is in things like control, frame pacing, playable frame rate. Um, but the same people that talk crap about Perfect Dark Zero are the same people who play GoldenEye at literally 17 frames per second. So I don't want to hear no complaints about the way Perfect Dark Zero plays or controls. I think the actual issues with it though are like no aim assist, or not no aim assist, but like weak aim assist, and
yeah,
then very precise weapons. So like bro, like
yeah.
if you like watch me play on like Perfect Agent, or even like Dark Agent, like bro, those levels get rough because like you miss a shot and you're just like you're cooked. Like you're just done.
And I played the multiplayer with you. I've played
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
multiplayer against him. It's
A little
it's
bit.
enjoyable. It's enjoyable.
It is.
I
It's the reason I
I
still have an
view
Xbox.
it I view it more as a party game in my
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, it is. It's a
Like
fun like arena shooter at the end of the day.
I feel like if you take the game, the more seriously you take the game, significantly less you're gonna enjoy it. I think the ratio of how much you're taking the game seriously and your enjoyment is like perfectly the opposite direction. It goes down. The more you enjoy the game, just the more it goes down. and so I or take the game seriously, the more it goes down. So I feel like if you take this game at like face value, as like this is a fun game to like hop on with your friends on the
Yeah.
couch, I think you can have a really good time. I now like 50 hours is
For me, absolutely. For me,
that
absolutely. Like,
that
okay,
does fit the criteria.
I'll say, like, with Perfect Dark Zero, one of the things that I love about it so much is the breadth of content, right? So you have the multiplayer and all the various maps and modes and stuff, and that obviously a lot of content there. But more importantly, you're looking at like replayability and stuff, and the single player has so much replayability. Not only because you have co-op, so you can play with a friend, and that changes the mission structure a bit because some levels change when you have another person with you, but also every single difficulty, and there are 4 of them, has different level objectives. So the difficulty doesn't just change like damage taken or enemy behaviors. I mean, it does change those things, but that's not all it changes. Like, it's not like another shooter where like you play Call of Duty on veteran and the only difference is you die in 2 hits and there's a billion grenades coming at you every 2 seconds. Like, but the level's still the same. You have to still go do the same objectives, kill the same enemies in the exact same places every time, and that's all that changes. With Perfect Dark Zero, enemy placements change, enemy behaviors change, the level objectives themselves change. Like, my favorite example of this is the first level. On the easiest difficulty, all you have to do is walk up, scan one guy, go into the nightclub, have a gunfight, and then you're done. The more difficulties you go down, all of a sudden, the one guy turns into 3 guys you have to scan in stealth, by the way. Then you have to like blow up a boat to prevent things. You have to find some documents in a room, get the keys to open the right thing. Like, you have to, it makes you engage with more of the level. And if you don't want to do all that, then you can plan an easier difficulty. And like, oh yeah, I want to play Stakeout, but I just want to like run through and have a fun like nightclub shootout. Cool. Play on Agent with your friend. Don't bring stealth weapons. Bring a freaking M16 or the grenade launcher and just start blowing people up. Get a laptop gun or a shotgun and just go crazy. Like, it changes the way you play the game and the way you engage with each mission. And not enough games do that, man. Not enough games completely fundamentally change with every difficulty. It's why I like Critical Mode Kingdom Hearts 2 so much. Is because
Oh my gosh! Oh, you read my mind.
it's a completely different experience. And
It's
it's
a different game,
amazing. And it's
and
amazing.
it's so much better.
And I will give Perfect Dark Zero all the props in the world because it deserves it. It has jank. It's a launch title 360 game that was made in development hell, and it shows, man. It's cheesy. It controls like ass. Like, it's not a great game, but it is an amazing experience that was made with so much love. And like, that is my, I love that game, man. Like, I'm so passionate about it that I was actually like offended that the Perfect Dark reboot was like looking good and like a modern contemporary game, because I'm like, no, like, bring back the jank, man. I want the freaking like 70s porno soundtrack. Like, I want the cheesy dialogue. I want the bombastic flaming red hair and the crop top, man. She looks like a 2000s alt girl, and that's all I've ever wanted in my life. So
Oh
I'm
man.
telling you, I'm sad that the Perfect Dark game, that Perfect Dark was canceled. Obviously, we just had a whole episode about that. I'm not going to bring that up again. I'm sorry for even bringing it up now for all those of you who are mourning with me. But I will always go back to Zero, man. I'm telling you, it is something special.
No, it definitely is. And as much crap as I've been giving it, I mostly was doing that just so that you had your talking points
Yeah.
of
But
stuff.
also
But
just like
Perfect Dark,
talk about
it's
Zero
a
in a bad
good
way and I'll kill you. Like, I will. I know where you live. Like, it's happening.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So how do we change subjects as quick as possible now? No, Perfect Dark Zero is a good game. It was enjoyable, and I think that that's the best word to describe it. It's enjoyable. Um, but yeah, for me, I feel like this chokehold is my chokehold isn't a game you would immediately think, because like the first game that popped into your mind,
Either Kingdom Hearts 2 or Castle Crashers.
those are the two that would go into your mind.
Yeah.
I've played through. I have Kingdom Hearts 2 is the only game that I have over 2,000 hours in.
Yeah,
It
we
is my
did the
time
math
sink game.
recently.
It's an addiction. Final Fantasy X, I have like 300 hours in. That's a good game. Castle Crashers, I have like not that many hours in comparatively. 360 time, I would have zero way of telling you. Like I don't. There's no way to
Yeah.
track that from how long ago it was, and I don't keep track of it like I do now. And PlayStation says I think I have like 100 or some hours, or like 80 some hours or whatever in Castle Crashers. I've played through that game a crap ton, and I've beat it in one sitting multiple times. But it's just it was never, you know, that high for me. Um, and then we get the game that I actually think I've dumped so many hours in. Lego Marvel
Oh my
Superheroes
god.
for the
Oh my
Xbox One
god.
and PS4.
How did I
Dude,
not how did I not immediately guess that?
this game, I, I have a video on my brother's Twitter of me platinuming this game and finally 100%ing it. Guys and gals, Lego Marvel Superheroes
It's
might be the
peak.
best worst game of all time.
It's so
This
good.
game is we were talking about like 6 out of 10s, 5 out of 10s. This is my 6 out of 10. This is my 5 out of 10. That is 14 on my top video games of all time. Games that it is higher than. I'm just going to tell you some games that's higher than. I have it higher than Guitar Hero 3. I have it higher than Final Fantasy 14. I have
It's
it higher than
crazy.
Kingdom Hearts 3, the conclusion of this saga. I have it higher than Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Spider-Man 2, and the last one is less crazy, but Plants vs. Zombies, which is at 20. Those are games just in my top 20 that I have it higher than. That's including Tears of the Kingdom. That's including Super Mario 64. That's including Super Mario Sunshine and Galaxy. Like
Yeah,
Halo
that's
3,
crazy actually.
Halo
Oh
2,
god, that's crazy.
Persona 3. These are games that I love.
Yeah.
Binding Blade, Wargroove. These are games that I absolutely love, and all of them are lower than Lego Marvel Superheroes for me.
Dude,
That's
Lego
just to
Marvel
show the
Superheroes is
criteria.
so good though. Like I agree. It's the second best Lego game.
It is not the second
Yeah, it's the
best
second best Lego game.
because this game has the most everything, and I think 100%ing it, as much as it was torture, it also kind of made me appreciate how much crap is in that game.
Yeah.
With Lego with the complete saga, which is his number one and is probably yours listening number one favorite Lego game. It has so much good to it. It has such a versatile roster. It has such great level design. Um, the no voice acting humor. This is the funniest Lego game that didn't have voice acting. It's just it's does all the good things good. This game has voice acting and uses it perfectly. There's only 15 levels in this game, which doesn't seem like a lot, but these levels are 20 minutes long. They're
Yeah,
expansive. They're
they're expansive
huge.
levels.
Then once you beat the 15 levels, I think you get like 7 bonus levels that you can do and gives you an incentive of getting those gold bricks. You build the doors, you get the side missions, the side stories. Those levels are how you get red bricks. That's how you unlock Deadpool, and you have to find Stan Lee in perils. There's so much stuff for you to do in these games, and I think it was just like such a great experience. And it has the best open world in any Lego game, period. Like
Yeah. Oh, big time.
New York, flying around New York or swinging around New York is so satisfying in that game.
It's like comparative to like a Spider-Man open world, man. Like it's like that
Yeah.
good. It's like that good. I
And
can't even tell you the feelings that I got for the first time jumping off the helicarrier as like Iron Man
oh
or
my
whatever.
gosh.
You know, like
Yeah, the first time you do it is in the second level with Captain America. That is just
it's
amazing.
like yeah, like I still remember that feeling like vividly.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, guys. I'm telling you right now. Lego Marvel Superheroes walked so that these other open world games could run. Like like Lego Marvel Superheroes walked so that Spider-Man for the PS4 could run, man. Like this game is so good and my a lot of problems with Lego games that you kind of see happen quite a bit is they tell stories that have already been told. So you have to make one of two sacrifices. You have to undermine this story to make it funny, or kid friendlyify it. And those are your only two options. And when you kid friendly it, you're still dumbing it down. You never get the true story. This game was just a kid's story made for this game. So since it was telling its own unique story, it could use the voice acting to kind of elevate it. And we see that a lot. I mean, this story is like so satisfying, and playing
Yeah.
as Doctor Doom and playing as the villains in the final level, like all of that stuff is so satisfying. And it's because of the voice acting. You feel attached to these characters. Spider-Man's funny. His quips are all super good, and I also think this game has a very diverse cast. Like the different abilities and stuff that each characters have all feel like they make sense, and the world still feels full. Like it makes sense that like there's dig spots and claw machines that like operate stuff, and like big characters that can break through stuff, and like the abilities that these characters have, I think in my opinion all makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. I totally agree. I think just all around it is one of the more well-rounded, intricate, and expansive Lego games. I mean, obviously you just look at sheer scope and size and scale, and obviously like Skywalker Saga is the biggest, right? But if you look at everything else, like where Skywalker Saga, like what you said about the story, right? Where Skywalker Saga falls is in how it presents the Star Wars narrative, and how you experience that. Whereas the best thing about Lego Marvel Superheroes is that it is its own independent original story with its own takes on the characters, its own universe that it's inhabiting, and its own story that it tells really effectively and is interesting. Like it's I don't know if it was the first time they ever did that, so don't quote me wrong, but I believe it was one of the first times they ever did that, to the point of like having their own original, completely original TT story.
I'm
It,
pretty sure I know I have your answer. Batman 1 and Batman 2, Lego Batman 1 and 2 both had their own unique stories. Lego Batman 1 just didn't have voice acting, whereas Lego Batman 2 did.
Gotcha. And see, I barely played the Lego Batman games, so I don't even remember them very much. So yeah,
Yeah.
so there you go. But with with
Yeah,
with
Lego
that
Batman 2
too,
was the
like
first game with voice acting. That was the first one.
even like with the complete saga, which I think tells the narrative way better than like Skywalker Saga does, even then, like that's still retreading a thing, and there's so many details that just get lost because A, no voice acting, and B, it's like a kid version. So like it's funny to me as somebody who's played through or like watched through the Star Wars movies a billion times, but I would imagine it's a lot less effective if like you've never watched Star Wars before. Um,
Whereas I feel like
you
you
know.
could be a complete random fan, not
Yeah.
even a fan of Marvel, and play this game and enjoy it
Yeah, and
and
I agree.
have an experience.
Like
And
it could be
I
your
just
first introduction to Marvel things, and you'll get an understanding of who the characters are, what they do, their place in the universe, and enjoy the story completely separately of any other external media.
no 100%. And yeah, holding it at 14th out of my thousands, or not thousands, hundreds of games. I would say hundreds of games that I've played before does seem like a stretch. You're like, okay, well, like why doesn't these other games sit there? I want you guys to know how much I love this game. It's higher than Bloodborne. It's higher than Bloodborne, guys. So I really appreciate this game for just kind of everything it did. It's a childhood game. It's a memory, very much so nostalgic for it. But I kind of also wanted to talk about it just to flex that I have the platinum for it.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
the real
guys,
reason that you wanted to talk about it.
yeah.
I still need to go through, and I need to beat Perfect Dark on the hardest difficulty, because I've still not beaten the entire game on the hardest
It
difficulty.
took you like 3 hours to beat the first level.
Yeah, I streamed it. Oh, I
You
streamed
streamed
part of
it.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, guys. So just a little recap for just kind of what we talked about. We talked about the Switch 2. Let us
Did
know
we?
how you guys feel about the Switch 2. That was the majority of our podcast here. How are you guys enjoying it if you have it, and how the questions ask? Go to the Discord. Let us know. How do you think this console is going to look like in the future? I'm so curious to hear what you guys have to think. I think it'll be painted in a good light. So does Fizz. I want to hear. I want to know what you guys think, and kind of why. And also, honestly, add to that list. What games have had a chokehold on you too?
Yeah.
Um,
What
um,
are your
if
gaming
you,
guilty pleasures or your gaming obsessions?
Yeah, for sure. Add that one there to the list for you guys. But yeah, that's all we have for the Sporadic Gaming podcast. Sorry, we're a little tired,
A little bit.
so just a little bit. But yeah, that'll be all. See you guys later. Bye.
Bye.